progress.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a state level.
Thank you, Don. Oh, good.
All right, I guess I get enough of you there, as long as you're kind of in front of the table.
Yeah, that's good. So I can stand clear back here.
Yeah, I looked at my bill yesterday.
Noted. You'll have that job forever.
Take care of the project this morning. I'm doing another one right now. All right, amen, thanks.
Yeah. You didn't show up, so, well, what you gonna do?
All right.
Okay, there's the bell. School's starting. So, Kevin,
Good morning, everybody. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, everybody, let's do this four-way test, and we gotta do it right, okay? So we gotta emphasize. Here we go. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will build goodwill and better friendships. And fourth, will be beneficial to all concerned. Well
awesome.
done, everybody, well done.
And bacon and fun. All right.
I'm sorry, I'm still a little bit on European time. Yeah. And fifth.
This is fun.
Go Vikings!
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin.
So Gary's kind of on vacation and meeting his, family down in California and stuff like that. So he's not here today, but I don't know if anybody has an inspiration of the day. Okay, I have one. So it's pretty simple. I don't know who wrote it, but if the plan, this is good because we're having Aquafest coming up, right? We're all going to be here a little bit after the meeting. So if the plan doesn't work, change the plan, but never the goal. So the goal is all about the corn. And we have the corn queen in the back right there that will help us out with our meeting after the meeting. So thanks for that. And then we have some, do we have any guests out here today? Guests? Any guests? Guests? No, I guess not. Any, how about visitors? That's almost the same thing. Any visitors? Okay. No, wow. Okay. No visitors. So let's see here. We have some birthdays. Now, I don't know what you guys want to do, but I always think Sunday is the first day of the week. Is that right or not? Some others say. Okay, good, good. So that's what I'm going to do for all the like anniversaries and birthdays. So Sunday's like day 1 and Saturday's day 7. So as far as birthdays, we have some coming up, but not this week. And then we have spouses' birthdays and anniversaries. So we have an anniversary. I guess we have Vicki Peters. Is she here today?
Oh my gosh, you just reminded me.
Yes. Wow. Hey, awesome. Don't forget your spouse.
I
Wow.
know.
Tyler, right?
Yes.
Tyler,
I'm here
okay.
today.
Awesome. Good. Awesome. And then we have dates joined. We have Chris Jacobson, 3 years, I guess, on the 13th. Wow. And we have Amelia, who's not here today, and she has 3 years too, as well, on the 13th. So that's pretty cool. And we did struggle a little bit. She's not here, but it took 5 of us to make coffee, and it's still cold. So, yeah, whatever, right? And like I said, we have a short meeting after this meeting to get Aquafest all geared up and dialed in and all our assignments and stuff like that. And Rochelle's kind of the chair of that, so she'll have a lot to say.
That's a short meeting for
Shocking.
just certain people.
Yeah. If you're involved or you want to be involved and hang out, because we got lots of assignments to kind of like get that going. It's 2 weeks away if you don't know. So anyhow, and so we have the treasurer's report. I know.
Treasurer is still not feeling well, but, I'm still here to take your money, don't worry.
Okay.
If you want to pay your dues by credit card, I do have my little credit card swiper thing.
Okay. And so secretary's report, Gary's not here, but he said that, just to reiterate what she said, dues, I think Gary mailed in the US mail 9 invoices or whatever you want to call that. So there's 9 outstandings. And I think that was it. The board meeting's on the 21st. Anybody's invited. So that's at the 21st at Brian's work. And it's at 5:30 on Thursday, July 21st. And Dawn, anything from you there?
Well, nothing that you haven't already iterated.
Okay.
From the standpoint of 2 weeks away, from us, we got several slots open for various tasks. It's kind of a all hands on deck type thing, it's a biggie for us, so.
Yeah.
Try to find something that works for you and put your name on.
Yeah, good.
And it's a little, it's clumsy on our website, how to get to the sign up. You can do it, but is there an easy way to do it that anybody knows about?
You used to pass a piece of paper around. You would.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, exactly.
That's too easy. So, you go to events and event planner, and then you go down and it'll say Aquafest, and then it'll say create sign up sheet. Well, just ignore that. Right below that, in little blue text, it says Aquafest. You click on that.
And it takes you in there?
Yeah.
Actually, I
Is there better?
I signed up last night, but it was from the email. I just clicked on the link
Yeah.
there and it took me right there.
But that's probably the easiest way is just to go to one of the email reminders.
Yeah.
And click the link there and that does.
That'd be good.
So send that out every single day or something.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and they don't make pencils anymore, do they? I don't know. It's all spreadsheets. And then club services, Mr. Jim.
Well, sticking with the Aqua Vest thing, Angie's not here, but we do have tickets to sell. And so when you, folks, you should be here next week. We can pass those around.
Okay.
And so, drum roll thing, update on our sponsorships. We're now at $37,750.
Wow.
The buzz kicked in $1,500.
That is awesome. Wow.
That's more than we made last year altogether, just in the whole event. And so we're.
Do we need to even have the event?
I
Come to my house for dinner. Yeah, let's just have a private corn barbecue.
Right. Jeez.
That's really good.
Okay, that's cool. And that puts us in a new tax bracket. So,
Yeah. We will jump to over. 50,000.
Yeah. That's cool.
You just need a creative account.
Yeah.
We went from 30 pages.
Club service, thanks for Larry and the gang get things going this morning.
Yeah. All right. Community services, Mr. Ruiz.
I'm gonna send out the signups again for the blood drive, just make sure everybody has an opportunity to sign up if you want to. I'll send out another email for next Wednesday's. But other than that,
Okay.
Things this weekend.
you already sent out?
I know, but we only have 2 people signed up for the first one and 4 people signed up for the paintings. We could use some more help on Sunday morning for the traffic.
Is that next Sunday?
This Sunday.
Perfect. You can be there.
Is that North Road?
So, it should be Sunday, across North Cove there,
Oh,
on Lake Shore, that
Yes.
little.
I think we call it City Beach. I don't know if anyone else calls it that.
Especially across the beach.
Yeah.
What time is that gonna? 8:30? Okay.
On a Sunday?
Reverend Jim will be there.
We're hoping that we have very few people that interfere with that in the morning to-
Okay. Any more questions about that? All right. Okay. So we have, we might as well talk about the foundation, Jim.
That's wonderful.
Excellent. Good answer. And the international services, Linda.
No updates this week.
What?
No update this week.
Okay. All right. And then Kyle's not here for membership. And then vocational youth services, Tracy or Kristen.
No update, any updates on scholarship plans? Can you put your phone down and listen,
Wow. Woo! Nice.
I'm signing up for Aquafest.
It's all related. It's all related. Yeah, right, exactly.
I've got all the information that we need. I just gotta get it to Lori, cut the checks and send them.
Thank you for signing up, Rob.
Anything else? Okay, good, awesome, yeah, good. And then Scouts, they're kind of gearing up for the parade at Aquafest, so I think James is working on that, so. And I think the Aquafest has tightened up their regulations on certain waivers and insurance and stuff like that. It's kind of individualized, even though you're a group, I guess. Anybody heard of this? No? Yes, okay, so kind of digging into that.
Jamerson is involved in.
Yeah. The question is, it came out that, the Scouts were coming as a group, but each individual scouts, parents had to sign a waiver for insurance.
Well, if they're under age, you have to sign a participation waiver or something.
Okay.
If they're doing an event, some sort of formal organized event.
Okay, I think that's it.
Otherwise, if they're got a booth, then they just have to fill out the
One.
documentation.
Okay, okay, cool, good. Thank you. Okay, and then Vicky with public relations or marketing or Facebooking.
Yeah, just gonna go over everything with you guys after the meeting.
What?
I'm gonna go over everything with you guys after the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're kind of gearing up for that. You know, it's all kind of new. We don't even know what Aquafest is because we haven't done it for like 3 years. So we all got to kind of dive into it. Chris Martin's not here. And Kendra, do you have anything on program?
Nothing new. We have Slay with Tribes coming next month. I don't have the schedule, because I don't know that date. Slay with Tribes. We also have, him just scheduled, or his son just scheduled to speak on a first responder program. So that's not on the calendar yet, just on
Okay.
the date. But, and I'm also in contact with the new, chief of police.
Oh,
That
cool.
probably won't be until, I think he said he doesn't have an opening until September.
That'll be great. Is that
Oh,
guy?
the thing's coming, yes, obviously.
So just before he became the chief, he wrote me a speeding ticket. I went through the little 25-mile-an-hour zone, but I think it used to be 35. Anyhow.
Hopefully
It-
we'll go 70.
Just slightly going over. Anyhow, and then Kyle's not here again, Rotarians in Action. Do you want to say anything about that, or we?
You're not here.
Yeah. So, and then I had Tracy's here to talk about the application request and community funding committee.
Yes, we are rewriting that form, and I found the papers in my pile yesterday, so.
Awesome.
I'm gonna organize it, send out a copy to the team, and if you want to be on the team, please, by all means. So it's Don, who else? Let's see, Don, Rochelle, myself, Gary.
I think I was on there, but
No, I don't know. If you want to be on it, I'd be happy to. I'll send it to the whole club. If you have thoughts, don't reply all, because then it gets really confusing. So reply to me and I'll collate your thoughts on it. And I will admit, there's one part where I'm like, okay, I don't know how to word this, so I just put blah, blah, blah. So if you want to rewrite that for me, that would be lovely.
how's that spelled?
I don't know. I'd have to figure that out, because I don't know how to do that.
Okay, awesome. Great. Okay, Kevin, we're having a drawing. Where'd he go? Oh, are you on your phone?
He's writing down the dates for.
That's what I thought, right.
Everyone puts stuff in their calendar.
Lance is doing. Yes,
So-
we'll have a drawing.
We'll have the raffle thing. So, did you want to do the raffle?
That was a get up.
Thank you, by the way.
Hey, I'm not very smart, but I'm slow.
That's perfect. That's my role.
All right, here we go. Gina, would you mind drawing this morning?
I would love to draw. 2, 5, 6. Yes.
Wow.
Hey, that's a late.
She said yes before they. All right. Hey, Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
it's good to see you up there, President.
That scares me.
How would you like this to go this morning on fines and happy bucks?
Yeah.
What would you like to see?
I would like to see a lot of money in the pot.
I like your
I
style.
should start it,
Yeah.
right? I should start that off then. I should.
Well, that's, yeah.
Is
you
that a
can-
fine
you
or
can
just-
No, prime the pump. Here we go.
Well, I'm gonna start with $3.
Very, I
It's a
like
cheap
it.
guy, but hey, there you go.
$3.
Because it'll be coming around.
Would anybody like to match Mr. President's $3.
Yeah, that should be easy.
I like it. I'm into. Here we go. $3. All right, we need to make some money. I like it. I like it. Anybody else?
Oh,
Woo!
yeah.
There we go.
Anybody else? Oh, there's a five. I like it. I like it. There's some goodness in this room happening right now. Look at that. Look at that.
That's my fine for being a teacher.
No, we should be giving you. All right, let's see. If pins and badges, everybody have their pins and badges?
I don't have my.
That's $1. All right. There you go, pins and
You don't have your
badges.
own badge.
That's why I love that.
Kendra.
Pins and badges. Pins and badges, everybody good? Okay, who was the last one in before the bell? Hey! Who was the last one in after the bell?
That was me.
All right, you got one. All right. Thank you. Okay, who has not been swimming yet this summer? If you have not been swimming this summer, it could be a pool, it could be a lake. Who's not been swimming? You've not
I've been swimming in my mind.
Hot tubs do not count. If you've not been swimming, that's $1.
Ken bad swimming.
I don't know.
All right. Okay. Oh, Joyce, are we good? You haven't been swimming?
I've watched everybody else swim, but
All right.
I'm swimming.
Scuba count?
Oh, Angie, how you doing?
Good. Does scuba count?
Scuba does count, yes.
Yeah,
Well done.
that's
Yes.
swimming, yeah. you
That's
have to
an
swim.
overachiever. That's
Yeah.
$1 for overachieving. All right, I think I want to have a little contest. Let's see. I want to pick out a couple people and ask them to stand. Ron, would you please stand? Sure. All right. Kristen, would you please stand?
Teacher be teacher.
Brian, would you please stand? Marcus, would you mind standing? Stan, would you please? Go ahead, Ron. Dawn, would you please stand? Jim, would you please stand back there? Jim Hagan. Gina, would you mind standing? All right. Yeah, no, yeah, you need to stand. All right. What do all these people have in common?
We all have blue on.
Short shorts.
No. Oh, Larry, please stand. Please stand.
Why don't you say, everybody not standing, stand.
So at first, as I was playing along with this game, I was thinking, I think I'm gonna go, oh, Chris, please. All right. I was thinking about a contest on who looks the most summery. And then I went, I think shorts. And now everything that all you have in common is you owe the club $1.
All right. You got me on that one.
Here.
And you look very summery too.
Fabulous.
Very good, very nice.
Yeah, we're gonna go from here.
That's one place we didn't want to go. I told her, I'm like, you didn't want to
Otherwise, I did move it.
Okay, you were all very good sports this morning. Thank you. And so we're going to switch over to Happy Bucks before you kick me out.
Okay. I am very happy to be here and feeling better.
Good to see you, Joyce. Right on.
I'm happy to be in person and use money for the last couple of meetings.
Right behind you.
I'm happy. I had a real nice full day trip to Lopez Island, a lot of good walks and hikes on Lopez with 3 friends. And I came back with $60 Coin Quest tickets. sold.
Nice.
On Lopez. Yeah. Lopez, nice.
I'll deliver them.
Yeah, we got phones, so we don't have to call.
Bunches of dollars, I'm not sure how many in there, but, because I just got home from 2 weeks hiking on the Amalfi Coast in Italy with my daughter.
Wow.
Yes.
Holy
It was
shit.
absolutely beautiful. It was 100 degrees every day though.
Ooh,
Which is
wow.
tough. But, and I can actually, if we want, put $50 in euros.
It's about the same now.
It's about the same now.
It's 1 to 1. 1 to 1.
I wonder if it's a good investment.
Ben, whether I just hit it, gotta say, okay. Just happy that we had great sponsors and we've done really well in that movement, so that's cool.
Anything on the boat?
Not, Silver, yeah, Whaler, yeah, not the big group.
Happy to be here and happy for my 5-year anniversary today. So we celebrate that. I'm excited.
All right.
Happy for physical therapy. I had my hip replaced years ago and I always walked with a limp. So now they're bringing my hips down even, so I was able to walk 4 miles.
That's a great time.
All right, well, there's my line. And then the wildlife sighting today was a coyote running down my driveway. His mouth was empty. The chickens came off down and everything. No, the bunny population is kind of low right now. Are they coming up? Yeah. I'll send the coyotes. I gave my happy button because I'm happy that Collins is here. Oh, are you?
And I can know that I'm happy to present to you all today, and that this is such a big group, so also kind of nervous. Like, I don't talk to friends super often, but.
You're gonna rock it.
Thank you.
Yes, you will.
Here's an apology dollar. I have been absent and I actually was supposed to be gone today. My dad and stepmom got COVID, so I get a free weekend. And happy for Aquafest coming up. I can't believe it's only in 2 weeks. So sign me up.
Right on.
I am happy the weather is still looking good 10 days out. Yeah. Nice.
Oh, gentlemen.
My friend is not happy. Well, I'm happy. My neighbor had a corn eating party yesterday afternoon. And that was a lot of fun. But the major conversation was about my Tesla. So.
How to get it out of the lake?
Yeah. It got me home.
You know what I'm happy about? I'm gonna shout out right now. Your shirt. That shirt is super cool. 20, going in right there. Yes, it's really cool.
1955.
And sweater.
Looks like a bowling shirt.
It's back in popularity.
You are, you're always happy.
I Venmoed my money in, so.
Tell us what you got there.
Larry, there you go.
I'm getting a new roof. Oh, wait, that's a sign. It's way too expensive. We're getting a new vanity top put in today. We're getting all kinds of things done.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
How can that not be happy?
That'd make my day.
I got, happy fan, Lake Stevens Pickleball Tournament, Lake Stevens Classic for Aquafest, just went over 220 participants, which for a tournament's first ever is pretty good, and I just got Sam Lund. Got any Councilman Sam Lund to sign up.
No kidding.
He's gonna be playing men's doubles.
Excellent.
200
Exciting.
people for pickleball?
220.
Wow.
To sign up, you just go to the Aquafest site? Or the-
You can go and link up through there, or you can link up through, there's a lot of different link ups if you want, if you're interested in playing with someone or a partner, but there's mixed doubles, men's doubles, women's, singles, the whole nine.
How many courts are there?
There's gonna be 16 courts, it's at the high
Oh,
school,
okay. Wow.
so 16 courts, we're lining, every one tennis court gets you 2 pickleball courts.
So it's exterior or interior?
It's exterior, it's all outside. By the way, Caballero just got 16 lined courts. So the school district did a great job in outlining 16 courts, and there is one down on Lundin Park now, one from the city just put in.
Is that where the championship will be played?
Wow. Kind of a local, so I'm getting that question at open houses, where how far do I have to go to play pickleball? So do we have a pickleball league?
Lake Stevens is just forming a pickleball club right now. Now that we actually have, we had no courts up until about a month
Yeah,
ago.
I saw that.
When the city put one in, but then the school just put 16 in. And Wednesday of Aquafest is a free pickleball clinic. If you want to come and learn and play, there'll be professional coaches out teaching and so forth. So it's free to come and play. But
Oh, cool.
220 is a huge tournament, actually.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Is there any prizes? or-
Say again?
Is there a cost to sign up?
It's $40 to play and $10 for each event, so $50 to play in Aquafest. But you get a shirt and there's lots of little, you get a bag and all kinds of stuff.
Give me bring your own pickleball paddle.
You do, but One Shot is coming. They're a pretty big pickleball company in the Pacific Northwest. They're going to be there. Bring a bunch of paddles. You can buy a One Shot pickleball paddle, but you can get it online in probably one day to get a paddle.
So cool.
Yeah.
Prizes?
Really cool.
There'll be prizes as well. Yeah, it's a pretty big tournament.
I threw in $2 one, because I'm happy that Kevin is back in the United States of America. And the other one was, because I got to follow my little grandson around yesterday in North Cove Park on his little bike.
Cool.
Yeah, fun.
That's really fun.
Cool.
Here's 3 happy bucks. Great to be part of such a great club. Appreciate all of you. And if you haven't seen, Lake Stevens Brewery is brewing a special brew for Sherwood. And right now you have an opportunity to put in a possible name for that brew. They're going to release it during Aquafest. And Sherwood gets $2 for every pint that's sold. So check it out.
Cool.
What's it going to be, like an IPA?
It's a pale,
Pale ale?
pale ale.
That sounds like Sherbrooke.
Ability Ale is my vote. I don't know if anybody's
What was
put
your
it in yet.
Billy Ale? I'm going with Sherbrooke. Oh, yeah, AA.
So I have a happy dollar for my fundraiser on Monday. I appreciate the mayor seeing on it. I raised over $10,000. Happy dollar for the Herald endorsement this week, Seattle Times endorsement. I did a terrible interview, so there's 4 sad dollars. That'll probably be on the next couple of days.
Yeah, you got a haircut.
Where was the interview? Oh, Cornfield from the Herald. He grilled me yesterday for 45 minutes. so.
That guy is crazy. Crazy.
That kind of gets you.
That's a phone call you don't take.
Okay, well, I'm happy that Aquafest is getting close to being done, because it's a lot of time. But can't beat Parkist, but I do have 1,100 cars that are confirmed and or the like that are gonna be driving around the lake.
Wow. Gee.
We'll see that. There we go.
Get the police out.
You wait till you hear this next one, the bomb that got dropped on us, working out. Friday at 11 o'clock, there's a high probability a Black Hawk helicopter will be landing in North Cove Boat Launch for a staff.
I know what time.
Before Aquafest starts.
We'll see.
I'm gonna blow the decorations off my boots.
We'll see.
Can the mayor fell out of it like full time?
Well, you
I
can.
know, Kenny.
You would be so realistic.
You might need to sign a waiver.
Participation
And you gotta wear one of those vests.
That's up to your insurance.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, I'm sure we can raise a whole bunch of money to see that.
The mayor's gonna drop live turkeys from you.
That's cool.
Because they can fly, right?
Excited for good weather. Excited for Aquafest. I love you, Larry. I'm sending my wife out of town, so.
That's a sad dollar. That's a sad dollar.
eliminate my time.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that's good. I'm happy.
Wait, show it off.
I'm gone long enough where I can actually grow one, because I've never been away from work long enough where it's all patchy.
You can get tats too.
You can have a beard tattoo.
oh. This is awesome not being the president.
How much is that worth?
Well, it's worth a lot. So I only brought $1, but I'm a Venmoer anyways. So here's a happy buck for Chris. You're doing an awesome job.
Well, thanks.
Thank you very much for letting me sit in the back of that.
Yeah, I like it when, yeah.
I'll put another happy buck in. I bought a house and we closed today. So I'm really trying to figure out how to hand myself my own key for my social media shot, right? Like, congratulations, home buyer. Like, how am I gonna take a picture and send it to myself? Selfie. Selfie.
How do you drink that whole bottle of champagne by yourself?
I'll figure that part out. But I gotta hand myself a key. In Arlington.
Really?
Yes, I love Arlington. Not as much as like. Yeah, so I'm super excited to close on that today. And also, you guys, we had a meeting not too long ago, and everyone was asking for rotary pens. So I ordered rotary pens. They're amazing. They're excellent. Ink. Oh, it's just crazy good. It says Rotary, $3 a piece. They belong to the club, so it's not a fundraiser. That's what they cost. So we have pens available. I'm gonna start a little Rotary store. We're gonna have Rotary swag. Yeah.
Rotary swag.
Rotary swag.
Yeah, a couple happy bucks. Proud of my son. He wanted to run a trail 10K with me when he was 10 years old. So he turned 10 and he finished up his first trail run 10K up in Bellingham.
Cool. Wow.
6.1 miles, 6.2 miles. So and it's a trail run, so it's nuts. Yeah, so super proud of him. And now we just need to encourage my 8-year-old. He knows that his uncle, though, up in Vancouver, he runs like ultra marathon.
Oh, wow, cool.
100K trail run, that kind of stuff. So I said, when you're 100, then you do that. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Have you ever done the Chuck 50?
I don't, so anything over me, like 10 miles is not fun.
I'm the
It
same.
takes the joy out of it. Punishing. So, yeah, I'm not a marathoner or an ultra marathoner. I like to run.
Did I get everybody here? I know Angie. Angie, Chris.
Good morning.
Are you happy, Angie?
Sure. I'm happy to be able to figure out how I can be up camping and still not miss any work or Rotary meetings. It's pretty awesome.
Where are you camping at?
Lake Tyee. It's kind of like Lake Connor Park, but it's out by Baker Lake.
Wow, cool.
I was thinking Lake Ty was in Monroe.
Tyee, there's an extra E.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy that we got a great group and Aquafest is coming up and everybody's stepping up to do that. And we're having a meeting after our speaker's done. So stay tuned for that and we'll have a lot of fun.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Good job.
Yeah, good job and congratulations, Mr. President.
What am I doing?
You're doing great. So I've got some happy bucks. 3 weeks in Europe with my son, like Gina, similar. We were in Italy, Austria, Germany, ended up in Norway. Colin is with my Norwegian buddy Kode and his kids. We just texted this morning, not too much texting, no. But left him there. They're a wonderful family. It was incredible. We as Kode, my buddy, and his 2 sons, and then Colin and I met in Oslo. We took a train to Bergen, which is incredible. So we're on the train and we're sitting next to a gentleman from New Zealand, a Rotarian.
Cool.
So we talked about how cool Rotary is and you should come visit us. And he was explaining his club. His club had, declined kind of over the years. And he goes, how's your club? And I said, well, crazy and awesome and just super vibrant. He goes, oh, that's the best, that's great, I was. Anyway, so it was a cool Rotary moment, but a wonderful time with my son in Norway is incredible.
Cool, that's really cool.
Yeah, so it's fun, and it's good to see all of you. And thank you. I think we did well this morning.
Next week we'll have to have a 5-gallon bucket. Anyhow, as we have, the mail comes to our mailbox, we have the voters pamphlet that came out, so there might be a few people in there we might know that maybe could deserve our vote. So just keep that in mind.
Go Hops.
Yeah, there. And somebody else, yeah, good.
DJ was here, that was the fun.
Yeah, I know, I don't want to, but anyhow, we don't talk politics, but so anyhow, we have Kendra Pinkelman here who's going to talk about what she does at work and things of that sort. So, and I think Don's got to load it up here. So you want to introduce yourself?
Well, yeah, but I
Yeah.
feel like that's like a part of my presentation as well.
Okay, good.
This is like we got a gate.
Oh, yeah.
Come on in.
Okay. Let's see.
It should be the only thing on there.
That helps.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I want to go back and share. Are you still there, Angie?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, then we'll share. Let's see here. Right there. Okay. And then you just use those buttons to move around.
Thank you, Don. So as most of you know, I'm a mental health therapist. I've worked in community health. I've worked in community health for 2 to 3 years. And then I had my own practice for a short time and then got pregnant with my second and was like, I don't want the stress of running my own business when I have a newborn, right? So then I joined a group practice. And I've been with that practice for probably 4 to 5 years. And now that practice is disbanding. And so it's the perfect time for me to start my practice up again. I do individual therapy, both in person and telehealth. But really what I wanted to speak about today was an ecotherapy group that I'm starting. It's a big passion of mine, ecotherapy in general and connection with nature. And something interesting about it is the fact that we have an awesome amount of nature to explore in the Pacific Northwest and Snohomish County in general, and yet there's no ecotherapist here, and it is an evidence-based practice. So why it's not bigger here, it's huge in Canada, which by the way, if no one knows, in Canada, doctors do prescribe time in nature now, and it's covered by insurance. And it really should be part of our medical system too, but it's not quite there yet. So I'm really excited to bring it to Snohomish County, being that it's not here. Oops. Okay, so what is ecotherapy? So the definition of ecotherapy is the therapeutic application of ecopsychology, which is the study between human beings and our natural environment, which that definition still leaves a lot of questions, right? So I do love this quote of ecopsychology, seeks to develop and understand ways of expanding the emotional connection between individuals and the natural environment, thereby assisting individuals with developing sustainable lifestyles and remedying alienation from nature. So it's not so much about what we can always take from nature, it's also about how we give back, and it's a reciprocal relationship. Like a quote that or a phrase that a lot of ecotherapists use is, as we nurture nature, nature nurtures us, right? A foundation of ecotherapy is the need for connection, which is what a lot of human beings strive for throughout our whole life. It kind of gives us meaning, whether it's connection to another person, a connection to a higher entity, a connection with ourselves. And a lot of people go through periods of time where they're missing that connection, right? So ecotherapy strives to, it's not just about the connection that we have to the earth, but when we build that foundational connection with the earth, we can build the connection with ourselves and others a lot stronger. It works on somewhat of a systems theory. So we're all part of multiple systems, which starts in our immediate family to clubs, to towns, cities, countries, all the way to the large system of human beings being a part of the earth, right? And when we find a healthy balance in that larger system of us and the earth, that's when we can ultimately get a healthy balance within ourselves. So in practice, what ecotherapy can look like a lot of different things. Animal-assisted therapy, like equine therapy or therapy dogs or therapy animals, that's a type of ecotherapy. There's also horticulture therapy, which is garden therapy. And that one's really cool. I hope for that to be part of my practice eventually, but I just don't have that space yet. But because not only is it really grounding to garden and touch the soil, and we also, when you grow your own food, like that's a shot of dopamine, right? Like when you're being more sustainable. But there's also some great research about bacteria that's in healthy soil, not chemically ridden soil, but healthy soil. There's bacteria in that will actually increase your serotonin reuptake. So that, which is a happy, like we need serotonin and dopamine to feel happy and calm and peaceful. There's ecotherapy can also look like green exercise, which is where people build entire exercise units outdoors, out of natural elements, or trail running. Connor left, but trail running is a type of green exercise. There's also wilderness therapy, which is way more intense than what I would be offering. But that's when you hear of, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of vision quests, or like the Aboriginals in Australia, they go on walkabouts when they come to a certain age. It's on the same premise where you go out into nature. Sometimes you start in a group and then you separate for so you're out in nature totally on your own for 5 to 7 days to find yourself. It's a very intense form of therapy. And then primarily what I'm offering is green therapy right now, which is using the practices that I've always used, but in a natural space. And we utilize the natural landscape while practicing certain techniques and skills. So the demographics served, and I didn't put this on there, but it's adults for right now. I would like to take teens later, and potentially mothers and with young children at some point, but not really there yet. So it's any adult with stress-related symptoms, which is pretty much everyone, right? And individuals feeling disconnected from themselves, those around them, and the world as a whole. A phrase that I often hear in therapy from people that are experiencing this, they say, I feel like I'm going through the motions. I'm not present, I'm not engaged, I'm just surviving the day after day, right? And that's really not a way to go through life. And I think that I would venture to guess that every one of us has been in a moment where we do feel that way. So some diagnoses that I would work with is mild to moderate depression, anxiety, and trauma and grief. And I do like to specify here, it's important that it's low risk individuals. So obviously no one with high suicidality or high homicidality, because when you're out in the forest with people for the safety of the group, right? We can't have someone who's high risk, and also for the safety of the individual, if there's suicidality, they need to be attending individual therapy. I would be open to someone coming to the group if in tandem with individual therapy as well, but this cannot be their only source of therapy because that will not help with those symptoms. So this is a infographic I made of the effects of stress on our body, which I think a lot of people were well aware of, but there's some things that, can surprise some people occasionally. So oftentimes disordered eating can come up when we're stressed. I don't know about you, but I have a lot of people in my life who either restrict food when they're really stressed, and it's unintentional. they're just not hungry, right? I myself am a binge eater when I stress, which is like super inconvenient. And you know, and that's when we get phrases like comfort food, right? That's comfort food is a response to when we're experiencing stress, and it's normally unhealthy food. So chest pain, obviously, when we experience chronic stress, people can experience a lot of chest pain, but that's also associated with muscle tension, because when you're having stress and anxiety, we're tensing our muscles and our body in certain ways that you're not even aware of, and it's happening all day long, right? So those muscle groups are not going to be feeling well. They're going to be very tight. Angry outbursts is a big one. So if you find yourself constantly irritable, it's probably not what you're irritable at the moment. It's actually the overarching effect of just always being stressed. Lack of focus and social withdrawal. So a lot of people don't like to be around other people when they're stressed, probably because they're irritable and a jerk, right? So what are some other ones I thought was interesting? Oh, two that I really like to point out are flare-ups, and what that's referencing is anyone with a chronic condition, like a chronic medical condition, whether autoimmune, arthritis, or anything like that, those symptoms will be heightened when you're experiencing chronic stress. And also stomach upset, a huge symptom of anxiety and stress that a lot of people overlook. They think it's more of a medical condition, and it very well could be as well, but is that the fact when we are super stressed, cortisol's high, our internal organs in the abdomen, they lock up, and they're meant to because our brain wants our limbs to have all the energy, right? So it can either cause everything to vacate or it can cause everything to stop, both of which we don't like. That does not feel good. So the type of therapy I use is cognitive behavioral therapy, which is all about, I like to describe it as a cycle between thoughts, emotions, and behavior. We all develop maladaptive cycles that aren't fitting our routine anymore, but we don't know how to step out of it. So it really digs into, okay, what are these thought processes that are affecting this emotion? What is our behavioral response? How can we throw a wrench into that cycle to stop that maladaptive cycle? And TFCBT is trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy. It's the same premise. It just focuses more on you experience these traumas. What were the messages that came from these that created the thoughts and emotions that now cause you to act in ineffective ways as an adult? And there's mindfulness-based therapy that I offer as well, which again, so cognitive behavioral therapy is kind of like this umbrella therapy, and a bunch of different therapies fall under it. So mindfulness-based uses the main tenets from cognitive behavioral therapy, but it's about being as present as possible. And I know that sounds like super easy, but it's really not for most people. You're incredibly present with your internal state, so you can view your thoughts and emotions non-judgmentally. A lot of people tend to visualize bringing those thoughts and emotions outside of their body, and in that way we feel more in control of them, and then we can work on processing them, whether we want to let them go or we want to learn from them and carry them forward. And some main foundational therapies that really all therapists use, but I always like to reference it, is the introspective therapy and humanistic. And introspective is obviously looking internally. With ecotherapy specifically, there's a big component of, and we'll see it later, it's called nature as a metaphor. So you will utilize the natural landscape and how you perceive it, and then take that metaphor to turn it internally to say, okay, what am I seeing outside of myself, and what does that mean for me? What's going on inside of myself? And then humanistic therapy is strictly, a phrase that is often used is we approach the client with unconditional positive regard. It's the idea that every client is attending therapy to do how should I word this? They're attending therapy with all the best tools they have that day. So they may have gone leaps and bounds the week before, and then you see them this week and their growth is moving like a slug, right? And that can be really frustrating, but we all have to recognize everyone has different tools on every day, and we still approach them with positive regard with care and compassion. So the group looks like it's 6 to 10 participants, and right now it's once a week on Thursdays from 4 to 6. It's starting actually July 21st. I did want to start, actually it was really an intense process, but originally when I started talks with the landowner to get general liability insurance for this process that covered my medical license outside of an office was pretty insane. So it basically sent me back a month. I wanted to start in June, but it took an extra month to get this insurance that I needed. So, but it's 6 to 10 participants, and it's land up by OK Mill Road. The major tenets explored in the group is nature as a teacher. So not just like what we can learn from nature of how to survive in nature in some aspect, but how to use, like, learn how to garden, how to take care of ourselves, how to read different signs in nature as like scat and trails and stuff to best protect ourselves when we're out there. Nature as a healer, which has to do with learning about herbal remedies and the natural things that are created in the environment that we can use proactively, medicinally, or just like there's actually a lot of great herbs that we can make teas out of to assist with mental health symptoms like anxiety. And like I talked about before, nature as a metaphor. So there's some really great techniques of processing what you're interpreting in nature at that moment and what it can mean for you internally. Because as I assume most people know, everyone has their own perception of what's going on around you at any moment, and it's not going to be the same as the person next to you, right? And the same works in that process of what you're seeing in nature may not be exactly what reality is, but because of your own baggage and experience, it's colored in a certain way. And then also the biggest part for me is the aspect of living in your true self. And what that means is in this group, we kind of dig into who you really want to be, what's important to you, what's your biggest morals and values throughout life, how you want to be remembered. I actually have this technique that sounds kind of dark, but it's writing your own obituary, essentially, and then figuring out, and then you align it with, okay, but how am I living right now? And is this really what I want to be doing? So it's figuring out who your true self is, which, as you could imagine, a lot of people aren't in tune with that. They're not even, especially people that use the quote, going through the motions, they're not aware of what they even want out of life and who they want to be. So that's part of finding that. And what the group itself looks like, the schedule, we start with a greeting and grounding exercise. So with the greeting, being that right now it's a public group, so any person can sign up to it. So I'm gonna have a wide array of what people are attending with. I want to do a greeting to check in with everyone. And at that moment, I'll get a feel of the needs of the group, and that will determine the focus for the rest of the session. And it's a 2-hour group. So, and then we'll do a grounding exercise, which will consist of a certain type of meditation to bring us to the current moment, to take our minds out of what was happening prior to the group and just be there together. And then after that, we'll process either some worksheets I have, or we'll discuss the lesson or the focus of the day. Each individual will disperse in the natural environment by themselves for probably about 30 minutes to practice the techniques and skills we discussed. And then we will reconvene at the end, and everyone will check in with how that process went for them, what came up, what was surprising, what was maybe really emotional for them. The objectives of the ecotherapy group is, well, and I'll just do the smaller ones, is you will become more present in everyday life. You will find yourself experiencing more gratitude and joy on a regular basis. You will learn some body awareness techniques, and you'll be much better at intentional living, which kind of has to do with the living in the true self, right? Every day you're waking up, you know exactly who you want to be, and every decision you're making is aligning with that. You will learn to utilize the earth and natural resources. So there will be psychoeducation on the benefits of interacting with natural elements. You'll increase your level of connection with the earth, which also increases your connection with other people, which offers us a ton of serotonin, right? So that's really good at decreasing any anxiety or depression. You'll improve on grounding skills, which is, do you guys know what grounding is? Have you heard that term before?
Only electrical stuff.
Yeah, but it's actually very similar to that, right? So grounding is just bringing yourself to this present moment. You, in a perfect sense, you would connect with the earth directly, but it's also, we can do it in this room too, just on a regular floor. But when we're experiencing a lot of chronic anxiety and stress, we're not really fully in our body, right? That's part of what our brain does, is we kind of separate a little bit, not full on detachment or dissociation, but just slightly, so we don't have to fully experience what we're in right now. So grounding is about bringing yourself back into your body, and in ecotherapy group, getting in touch with the earth. And we do a lot of meditations and visualizations about growing roots into the soil. And it will reduce symptoms of anxiety, depression, or stress. Individuals that come to the group with already a diagnosis, we will learn more about what that diagnosis is, how it manifests in your life. We'll also talk a lot about specific symptoms and why they show up, how to cope with them, and then improve knowledge on the effects of stress. And I like to always add aura response to it, because what they have found is that any negative effects that stress have on our body is not really about the stressor itself. It's about our perception of what that stressor is, right? So if we approach a stressor of some kind and we view it as this obstacle, this fight, something I always have to push through, this is what I always go through, right? Our perception of that is incredibly negative, and we're going to have negative effects from that. But if you're an individual that approaches stressors with, this is an opportunity for growth, I'm going to kick ass, I'm going to be stronger after this, you will not have a negative response to stress. So it's really not about the stressor, it's about our perception and response to it. And that's also part of in ecotherapy, putting that into perspective for each person. So like I said, right now the group is open to the public. People can go to my website and so any person can reserve a spot. But goals for the future that I would really like to see is that specific groups of individuals will get together and contact me for a session. And why that would be helpful is because I can tailor that session to them prior, right? So the examples are first responders, teachers, nurses, teens, individuals on the spectrum, and anyone in the LGBTQA community. They all have similar stressors they deal with. They probably have similar symptoms. And so it'd be nice for me to be able to tailor that group specifically for them, instead of at the moment that they show up, me trying to figure out what everyone needs, right? I also want the option to use different locations around Lake Stevens. So I'm trying to find other landowners. I myself am not in a position to buy a large expanse of land, and we're talking like, I would prefer 30 to 50 acres is what I'm looking for. So like I said, I have one that is out past OK Mill Road that I'm working with, but I would love to have different types of land because they all offer different types of things. And so right now it's a 1 session a week, you buy for that individual session, but I eventually want to create series of groups, so like a 4-week series, maybe onto an 8-week series, because obviously that's going to be far more effective. There's only so much that can happen in a 1-2 hour group for someone. So I am doing the individual groups or the just 1-2 hour groups right now, just for people to gain knowledge about what ecotherapy is, to gain some basic skills, and would like hopefully for people to sign up for larger series of it in the future. So I'll be starting that in the fall. And I think that is it. Yes, I think that's it. Yeah. So any questions?
I don't have a question, but I couldn't help but think about about, a couple of days ago, I happened to be at the Fry Museum in Seattle. Fry
Yeah.
Museum. And they have an exhibit going on there that is all about connecting with nature and nature connecting with you.
Yeah.
Now, the irony of that is that the artwork was collected by an individual that started a butcher in Seattle,
Mhm.
serving food to the Klondike folks. And they put a shop in up in the Klondike area and so on. But they focused in on a lot of what you're talking about here, and the artwork is really quite stunning in terms of people with animals.
Yeah.
And people out in the pastures and the connections. So I would recommend that to anybody who has some desire to sort of see the connections.
Yeah.
In the artwork.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. So the
And-
Fry Museum?
The Fry Museum that's
Okay.
up on Hill Hill, right near the high school. It's the high school up there that always wins the basketball games. No, it's Catholic high school.
Gonzaga Prep?
O'Day.
Oh, wait, O'Day, oh.
I'm amazed at the connection here. Suddenly I'm looking at that and then here I am listening.
Yes, yeah, that's interesting. And something I like wanted to point out was the fact that that man was a butcher who created that, which a lot of people would hear ecotherapy and say, well, anyone who's butchering or eating meat is not in support of the nature or environment. And that's actually not the position of a lot of ecotherapists. It's more of we approach that connection with food and our resources with gratitude and reverence, right? So, it's not about not.
That's where he was.
Yeah. Any other questions? Lori?
Say that, so I have a lot of trouble with anxiety.
Yeah.
And before we built on our property, we would come up on, so we're in these high stress jobs and down in Kent, drive up with our camper and you can just feel it. It's open the door, it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
and so, yeah, I really can identify with that.
Yeah.
For therapy.
Yes, yeah. Well, and a lot of our stress is caused. I mean, we can identify the big things in our life that causes stress, whether we don't have enough time to do the things we want to do, or financial stressors, or children, right? That can be stressful. But a lot of times the things that are adding to our chronic stress are like the little things, like living in a space that you don't want to live in, constantly hearing cars and traffic and stuff when you're in a deeper city. And when you return to the natural environment, those stressors can go away, obviously. And we also, like biologically speaking, when you're in a city, you're surrounded by more pollution. The air quality is not as good. The second you return to those woods and that air quality is better, your body responds to that immediately. So I do have business cards here, and I do have little handouts about the ecotherapy group. Obviously, like with mental health therapy, I'm not offering the service to anyone that I know, so sorry. But if like I said, I also am opening it up to like first responders or teachers. So in that regard, I would technically have a connection to those people. But the ecotherapy group specifically is pretty individual work based. So there's a little bit of gray area there with allowing some knowledge of how I know that person in, as opposed to individual therapy, which I don't want to have any connection to that person outside of therapy. So yeah, so that is it. Anyone else? All right.
Cool. I don't know, I mean, every individual's got different things and you put it all together, and I just thrive on learning that kind of stuff, because everybody's different, everybody has stress and all that. I don't know if they should be having that in high school so people can kind of equip themselves with
100%.
tools,
Yeah.
things of that sort. So.
I know, and that's why I don't like historically work with anyone under the age of 18, but I legally can. So I would like to open up with teens, because I mean, that would be,
Yeah.
it's better to be proactive.
Yeah.
Those skills. Yeah.
So in your name, we have a gift certificate, $25 for the
Yes.
Student Education Foundation. Excellent. Okay, well, thanks for doing that. That was amazing.
And with that, we're gonna have a Aquafest meeting. So if you're involved with Aquafest, I think that's almost everybody, but some not. Stick around and we'll start in about 5 minutes. Into the meeting.
I'll enter it for you. Am I allowed to click end?
Oh, you can do it.
I know, I'm joking.
You know,